Record. Hi, hello. I'm gonna talk about The Artist's Way, and I just want to get straight into it. So basically, The Artist's Way, as you can see, anyways, The Artist's Way is like a self-help book, a course in discovering and recovering your creative self. So whether you do, writing, music, film, painting, art, whatever, it's like a way for you, like, hey, if you're feeling a little bit blocked, whether it's like from, just normal circumstances or anything, maybe whatever. Yeah, it's supposed to help you with that. And I was inspired to do it by Doechii because I think Doechii's like an amazing rapper. And I was like, well, I want to see, you know, how this book helped her to become the person that she is today. And so, and then also something kind of big happened in my life that I'm not going to share, but it did bring me to be like, okay, I kind of want to do some self reflection on my life because a lot of things have turned. So, from like around March 31st to I would say around June 22nd, I was doing The Artist's Way. And so it's like 12 weeks of different, prompts. For example, like week, let's see, this is week 1, recovering a sense of safety, talking about like, you know, how we need to heal our inner child and certain lessons that we should take with us and whatever. Yeah. And she has a bunch of anecdotes. Julia Cameron is the author of this book. A little bit of background about her. She is apparently like really wealthy. And so some of the things that you can obviously see, and also other thing, this book was written in 1992, so that's damn near 30, I want to say 33 years ago. So this is like pretty old. Some of the stuff is like, what the fuck is this? Obviously, if you're much younger, but a lot of the topics I would say, especially like the later weeks, still pretty much apply to what's happening today. It's just in a different font. And there's a bunch of forums, Reddit's one of them, obviously, of course, that you can go over and you can read what people do. But it's fully intended for you as a person to unblock whatever thing is, I guess, getting in your way of being more creative and I guess balancing life out. So, how I did it, I personally, I read the book. I initially purchased a notebook, but for me, because I was doing it for the first time and my notebooks or my writing tends to be very scribbly, I actually decided to type. I didn't actually see a problem with typing. I think typing was just more efficient for me because I was able to write my thoughts down. I text really fast. When I was traveling, I actually had like this thing called random things I want to say, where I would just grab my phone at like random times of the day and like be on my notes app and just talk about like whatever I was thinking that day. So that prompt that I did while I was abroad for a little bit actually helped me to kind of get in tune with starting this book. So that was nice. But I mainly typed most of my morning pages. And for my artist dates, I think I initially got it wrong because I was like, I just spent like maybe an hour or two. I already was spending an hour or two making music. And then because I live in a cold state, it's like it was kind of harder for me to find activities to do because one, I was like not I was employed, but I was only partially employed, and I also don't have a car, and you kind of need a car to go like anywhere. So most of the time, I would just be like, I don't know, like making my music or trying to like paint or something. I don't know. It was kind of hard, but as the months or the weeks went by and it was getting warmer, I started incorporating walks, going on like little like dates with myself, going to like I think I got a Dahlia one week, and then I made a song called Dahlia. Oh yeah, for me, this whole artist way was for my music's sakes because I can't lie, like I was giving up on like just even promoting my music. I'm still obviously I wouldn't say that this book changed my life, but I think significant things have happened since then. It's obviously not like a big shift, like I'm a celebrity, I'm doing amazing. Not yet. Don't want to be a celebrity, I don't know. But for me, it was more like, how would I say it? Especially towards the later weeks, I think it was more just trying to split in between figuring out who I want to be and figuring out what caters to social media, because I think a lot of my problems, because I don't really know how else to define it, of like music making is I'm just not that good. Or even though I've been doing this for a long time, like I don't get as not like enough credit, and trying to discern between like, okay, I want to promote myself and be authentic, but I also kind of hate promoting and I just want to do my own thing. Which way do I go? And I feel like I'm always going the latter way, and I just kind of need reassurance that I'm doing it right. But no one's telling me that, so it's like, okay, I'm gonna pick up a book and and make sure the book gives me that type of reassurance, which I guess like in a sense is like I'm kind of losing control of myself and the way I think about things, but I don't know. But anyways, I did that. Those are my morning pages, those are my artist dates. And yes, it was very hard, especially in the middle of the weeks, to get over the insistence or the insistence of Julia's certain ways of thinking, aka like money, money will come back to you, money come back to you. Which how I interpreted it was, you know, as long as you're always keeping up with things, money will always come back to you. But I know for a lot of people that isn't the case. For me, I'm in a very lucky position. I'm living at home at the current moment as I'm trying to save up and, you know, move out and hopefully get a better paying job. One of the things that came out of it was that I did end up actually getting a better paying job. But I feel like even without the job, I feel like low-key even without the pay raise that I'm about to get, like I think I still would have gotten it. But I think what I can come out with it was two things. Work to live is number one motto. Number work to live. And this is like something that even when I was like studying abroad, I took a class called Japanese Business Culture, and we were talking about like, I forget what the terminology is, but like masculinity versus femininity, you know, competitive individualism, collectivism cultures. Like America in itself is a very individualist culture. It's a very capitalist culture. It's a very like non-collectivist. We don't care about the community. We only care about ourselves, and that's like portrayed through capitalism, consumerism, and whatever the fuck not. So when I hear live to work, a lot of people tend to prioritize their lives around work. You know, pays are not that great nowadays. PTO is not that great. You compare that shit to European countries, yeah, it's not that great. Granted, I know somebody would refute, yes, Europeans do not get as much money as we do. But it doesn't matter if the ratio isn't ratioing, because they don't get a lot, they don't, oh, sorry, they may not get a lot in like salary wages, but they do get a lot more in access to like healthcare, quality of life, eating, blah, 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 blah. Like so many things that are just better there because they actually care for them citizens. And that has like the whole feminine culture involved. I mean, obviously, I know countries have their rights and wrongs, but like, I know just being abroad definitely shifted my perspective on what it means to actually live life, because I feel like here it's always about money, 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 spend, spend, spend. And then as opposed to like being abroad and having experiences which feels so much more valuable to me. Like I literally remember walking back to my dorm, like thinking and reflecting back on my like whole study abroad experience, and I was like, it was never consumerism that made me happy. It was the experiences that made me happy. And as of right now, yes, I'm saving up. I'm trying to build like a financially better future for myself. But eventually I like to get to a point where I can go live somewhere and have incredible experiences over having a paycheck and more paychecks and then just using it to buy shit. Like it's not what I want to do in the long term, but I'm just doing what I can to survive because I'm just not in a position of like glorious wealth, you know? So I don't know. But the second thing I got out of it is that even though, yes, it didn't like change out my life or anything, it definitely helped me to understand the way that I think about things. And here's the thing, I've journaled for a very long time. I've been journaling for like 10 plus years. Like, I have all my journals stacked up, but my journaling wasn't very frequent. I would usually do maybe like once a month or twice a month, or sometimes I'd skip a whole month because I would just kind of treat it as this like, big bubble of thoughts that I had, and then it would just burst onto paper and I would just write. But I'd be so overwhelmed with myself that I wouldn't know what to write about. Like, I'd be like, I could talk about this, I could talk about that. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to talk about all this, so I just get overwhelmed. I would do voice memos. I always found my journals to be super negative because always writing about the negative things in life. So I just kind of deterred away from journaling. And I feel like I took a lot of my I guess my thoughts onto like social media, more specifically like, Instagram stories or Snapchat stories. I would just be talking about whatever. But now, and for a while I did want to get rid of doing that because I was like, I don't feel comfortable anymore about sharing my thoughts every single time when I'm on social media. So I was like, I need a better outlet that will allow me to just dump all my thoughts into the void, and I won't be judged for it, because I feel like sometimes I do get judged, even if because I usually just post on like my close friend story. I don't post like big whatever. No, I don't do that. But even then, I'm just like, I feel like I'm exposing a lot of myself that I would rather just expose if I was in conversation with other people. You know what I mean? And sometimes I feel like I'm not exposing the good parts. Sometimes I don't know. It's weird. So morning pages, doing it every day, it's like I'm just thinking about what I thought about like basically the night before, or maybe just an entrancing thought, and I realize I'm like, I really have a lot to say. And kind of formulating these thoughts and putting them down on paper makes me realize, I'm like, oh, why am I thinking about things this way? Like, it provides clarity as to how I should approach things in life, if that makes sense. So that's how I feel like writing is helping me. It's not necessarily giving me the path, but it's making me understand how my mind works, how I work, how I operate, how my anxiety comes by, how my happiness comes by, what actually makes me feel good, what actually makes me feel not so great, stuff like that. And then when I like read it back, I'm like, oh, how interesting. And in week 9 too, sorry, this is a spoiler, but in week 9 of The Artist's Way, she actually makes you go back and read all your like journals and like, or your entries, your morning pages. And I'm like, I think my main themes that I had were babies, lots and lots of babies happening. Like, I searched up the symbolism of what babies meant, and it was like new beginnings. I was like, new beginnings of what? But obviously now it's like, oh, okay, like babies, like it's a new beginning. Like, I feel like I'm inner child, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. That's like the first thing I can think about. But lots of babies. I also talk a lot about the government and politics. In my off-brand morning pages, not off-brand, but because I liked doing the morning pages so much, I have now switched over to writing because obviously, like, again, I don't want to read my writing during this book, but I have now switched to doing paper, and I like made all these like washi, no, I got these like stickers from Amazon. I call them time pages because sometimes I do want to write at night as well. Like, I do have too many thoughts at night, so I need to write them down, and it helps me sleep better because I'm like dumping my thoughts. I'm like a dumpster of thoughts, bro. Anyways, so I started writing here post Artist's Way, and I can't lie, all I've been writing about is Love Island because that thing consumes my brain. Yes, I am a Nicolandria stan. I think a year from now I'll be like, what the fuck is a Nicolandria? But I am rooting for her, Nick and Alandria, and if they don't win or they don't get together, I'll be depressed. But if they don't win, I will go for Zach and Amaya because it's just a roller coaster of emotions, bro. But back to topic, okay? If there's one thing that I think Julia is trying to express here, it's that you need to go and have fun. You need to go and have fun. You need to go and live a little, because life is not guaranteed. Life is not fair. So you might as well be selfish as hell. No, I'm kidding. But in 3 words, work to live. As in, stop, I guess, don't think about what others have compared to you. Don't get too sucked into what others think. Be your own self. Don't be ashamed of your own interests, I would say. Don't be ashamed of that. Just do it because it makes you feel good. And I'm still trying to learn that. Like, every time, okay, this is just like a nitty gritty thing that I just need to get off my chest. But every time I open up my Logic, like just Logic Pro on my computer, I'm like, sometimes I'm just so lazy to make a beat. So like make like an actual like drum beat. So I'll go on Splice and I'll be like, where can I find a nasty ass good beat that I can just dump on my fucking music page. So not music page, what the fuck, not music page, my song. And I just did that just now. I was like, I'm tired, I don't want to make a beat right now, but I really want to post something. And I feel like these quick beats, I'm like, I don't put enough effort, like I don't put enough struggle into like really making this sound good. I sound like a Landria right now, bro. Oh my god. See? Revelation. As I speak, as I write these things, I'm like, wait a damn minute. Why do I have to even... There are rappers and producers literally putting a Spice beat and a sample from a fucking famous singer and they're making hits. Like, why am I overthinking this stuff? Like, let me just put what I want to put, and if it sounds good, it sounds good. And I'm like, no, but you didn't put enough work into it. Like, you need to like make your own stuff. But I'm like, what am I gonna make it out of? Like bongos and trees? Like I'm gonna chop down a tree just to make a nice ass beat? Like that's just so like my mind is always going between those two things, and I'm like, I just need to make what I want to make. Because I see like the was about like how people are like, if you use Spice samples, you're not a real producer. And I'm like, it's ingrained in my head. I've been indoctrinated. It's insane. So yeah, did I even get to the gist of what I was trying to say? Work to live. It doesn't change your life, but it gives you more clarity, which could actually change your life. I think you have to think about it not in like the bigger picture, but in like small increments of like, okay, how can I shift this, and then this will eventually shift, and then how can I make this, and what should I do with this, and then this will eventually shift, and it goes in waves. Like you're not gonna constantly see improvement. You might see some things here and there. A big thing I forgot to mention is that I actually did get my very first like big, like kind of semi-big TikTok post that became really famous, and that was when I was making it. I forced myself to make a beat that day. And I was like, I don't give a fuck about this. It was kind of lazy sampling that I did. And I was like, this is lazy, but like, I want to post something so bad. So I posted it, and I was just doing the drum beats. Like, I can make a good drum beat when I want to. I just, again, sometimes I don't want to. So I made a drum beat, and I just layered the sample on top of it, and boom, it just gets a bunch of likes. And I'm like, what? Like, what? I wasn't even passionate about this. So, yeah, I was like, wow, okay. So I kind of just went with the same format, but now I find myself trying a little bit harder, to the point where sometimes I'm like, I'm kind of just tired of this. I don't want to do this anymore. But then the cycle just repeats itself. It's like, oh, I want to make a beat. Oh, this is too much. Oh, I want to make a beat. Oh, this is too much. So I'm still trying to like figure things out for myself. And I mean, in a way, just like talking about this is helping me quite a bit. So, yeah. The artist's way is there for you to have clarity on certain things. And one of my favorite... This is getting to 20 minutes long. I'm not even going to edit it. I don't care about editing anymore. I literally use this page because I literally can edit anywhere else. I just choose not to edit here because editing is too much. I never understood escape of velocity, but Fame Drug is one that speaks out to me because I feel like nowadays when everybody wants to be content creator, including myself, you know, it's like, whew, week 11. What's something? And then the Dolce quotes are obviously here. I think I saw one as early as like week 1. Yeah. If I have a poem to write, I need to write that poem, whether it will sell or not. And it's like, you know, I don't know. It's a lot, but yeah. If you have any questions, comment down. Otherwise, I will be signing out and once more obsessing over the Nicolandria drama on Love Island. Okay. Bye.